All right, friends, it's Team Man. We are back with another video. And guess who? JasonBlaha, the gym lifting, recruiting, gear slave, fitness slave himself. JasonBlaha. Yes, we're going to do a video, a reaction video to JasonBlaha. Let's see what he says. Blaha says, eating and training like a bodybuilder for your health. Eating and training like a bodybuilder for your health. A fake one? Eating like them and training like them? Taking their drugs? Eating their drugs? Eating a drug diet? Eating drugs and injecting drugs. Okay. That can't be healthy. What a reaction.
Training and eating like a bodybuilder will increase your lifespan and your quality of life. Hey,
Absolutely not. Show us the study. I can produce studies that says there's no correlation with increasing your lifespan. If anything, it shortens your lifespan. Think about it. Anything that you keep doing more of and increasing your metabolic rate, increasing metabolic rates are associated with shortgevity. Eating artificial diets, shortgevity. Lifting weights, stressing your body, accelerated aging, shortgevity. Shortgevity. You are going to live very short. You're not going to live longer. It's not going to make you live longer. What makes you live longer is a very unstressful lifestyle, eating your natural food, you understand me? And sleeping a lot. Sleeping a lot, getting good sleep, like really good sleep, a lot, like at least a good 8 to 9, between I'd say 8 and 9 hours of sleep, like really good sleep and, REM sleep. High cholesterol, meaning that your testosterone will be high, your sleep will be better, you'll be functioning better, your metabolic, your mitochondria in your body and everything will be functioning a lot better. So I'm not saying you have to be sedentary. I'm saying walking is not stressful. Running is stressful. Anything that you do that is stressful is going to accelerate aging. So he is absolutely incorrect.
It's JasonBlaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. Now,
constantly inflaming your muscles, exercising on a daily basis accelerates aging and can cause who knows what. It can cause a disease, actually. What you call a disease, I call it metabolic disturbance. A metabolic malfunction in your body. What else can it do? A lot of stuff, man. I don't know. There's just so many things here. The inflammation in your cells from eating an artificial diet, a toxic, poisonous, artificial plant diet, is going to inflame all your cells in your body. So they're going to go for a flight or fight. They're going to try to run to the extremities. It's been proven in laboratories, bro. They've done it in petri dishes. Jesus Christ, man.
When I make this statement, I don't want to mean that all bodybuilders are automatically healthy. Obviously, there is the case of excessive amount of magical supplement abuse, and that doesn't include just androgens. That includes all sorts of crazy stuff.
Think about it. What do you think? Maybe go back further in time, 100,000 years ago, whatever. Before the Egyptians started eating bread, like 3,000 years ago or whatever, 4,000, 3,000, whatever they were eating their bread or whatever, they started eating bread, drinking wine, drinking beer, these artificial diets. And then they're like, okay, we ate all the animals here. There's nothing more to eat. So then the pharaohs started eating the bread like the slaves. They started eating the slave food because they ran out of food. So when they started eating bread, can you imagine eating bread every single day? Bread is putrid. It's poisonous. Bread is poisonous. It's grains. It's cyanide. It's toxic. And so it'll eventually you're poisoning yourself eating bread all day. Can you imagine the bread that they ate? Man, that shit was sitting there. The what do you call it? The fucking wheat and shit was sitting there. Like, who knows where they kept it? Who knows, man? All kinds of problems happen with bread. It goes bad, rancid. Then they make bread out of it, man. It affects these people. They get nuts. Then they say, well, they lived a very short lifestyle, these people in the past. Yeah. What were they eating to cause you to have such a short lifespan? They died at 20 or 30. King Tutankhamun, all the rest of these people. Okay, well, why did they say Ramses lived to 100? I don't know. I can't prove any of this, man. They said he was a god. He lived to 100. Okay, why did he live to 100? And all the slaves and all the other pharaohs and whoever was there, why did they die? What did he do different that they didn't do? Well, They said when I watched like some stuff on it, they show them eating bread shortened their lifespan, killed them, they died. Now Ramses, who knows, maybe he had access to meat, so he ate meat. He loved meat and he ate meat, and he knew he felt better on meat. When he ate bread, he felt probably terrible. Yeah, you notice the difference. If prisoners don't live very long on bread and water, that's what they fed prisoners. It's a prisoner diet. It's even a slave diet too. Bread and water, a lot of it. And so their lifespans were cut short. Like I said, when they probably ran out of meat, a lot of these people in Egypt, then these pharaohs, they recorded it that the pharaohs died. They didn't say the slaves were dying. The slaves definitely died. It wasn't until they recorded it that the pharaohs started eating a lot of bread, eating that mush, the slave diet, and then they keeled over and they died. Now, people on natural food, I'm talking about raw milk, raw meat, raw herbivore meat and stuff like that. They were eating it raw, the organs, drinking the blood and all that. There's no nutrient deficiencies, full of nutrients, and maybe drinking some milk in the beginning when they were growing, I don't know, some raw milk, whatever. These animal products, eating animals that are herbivore, preferably, of course, no carnivore animals, they're shit. So, how long did they live? Long, probably. Hundreds of years for all we know. Maybe 400, 500, 300, 400, 500, 600. It's really hard to say. You understand me? Why are whales living to 1,000 years? I don't, because they're eating they're eating their diet. I don't know. A lot of these animals and things out in the kingdom, they're living a lot longer. They live long. It's providing they eat what they're supposed to. If you don't eat what you're supposed to, you could get all kinds of weird things, adaptive responses like cancer, these so-called metabolic disturbances or whatever. Don't eat anything artificial. Don't do anything that's bad for you. Don't stress yourself. Don't put yourself in a situation where lions are chasing you all day. You know, one pride is chasing you now. Another one, you're stressing yourself too. Animals stressing themselves.
But when you set that aside with modern hardcore bodybuilding, and we just look at, say, natural bodybuilders or the bodybuilding lifestyle, I think you will find that
natural bodybuilders and natural bodybuilding lifestyle, okay.
It's very much the case to where it will absolutely improve longevity and quality of life.
It will not. It will not, especially if you're on a fake artificial diet. Yeah. It'll make it worse over time. Like Blaha, suffering from osteosarcopenia, and he's got psoriasis on his legs. Read it up, type it in Google. He has psoriasis on his legs, okay? At the bottom there. So type it up in Google, psoriasis. What does it do? It says shortens your lifespan. There you go. You understand me? The things that he's doing is shortening his lifespan. All of the stuff. Inflaming his muscles, eating an inflammatory diet, a whole bunch of stuff. It's just accelerated aging. Look how aged he looks. He's 47. He looks like he's 85. Come on, man. Like me, I'm 57. I don't look old, bro, like him.
So much so that even the other, if it's modest, is completely offset. And there have been studies on that, by the way. Studies on that, which were interestingly enough going all the way back to like weightlifters from the 60s or whatever, which were interestingly enough going.
A lot of his diet's artificial. Is he in positive nitrogen balance? I would not say so. I would not say he's always in positive nitrogen balance because he's eating tofu and weird fake foods. To be in positive nitrogen balance, you need to be in your natural carnivore you as a carnivore eating your diet, meat. You need to be eating meat, okay?
All the way back to like weightlifters from the 60s or whatever in the Olympics during a time when a lot of stuff was used, and it turns out they actually had slightly better mortality rates than the general population from some of their same countries. So again, kind of goes to show that the lifting itself, a lifting lifestyle, absolutely enhances longevity. And we have a lot of...
Absolutely not. It shortens your lifespan. He still didn't prove how it increases your lifespan. That's bullshit. It shortens your lifespan. This just makes you good at doing these exercises. Doing them just makes you good at doing them. But they stress your body, and any stress turns on these growth factors, and if you're growing, You're aging, get it? Because you stopped growing at 25. But, Blaha, he loves growing. He wants to keep growing. Now, I'm not saying he's totally poisoning himself like the Egyptians, eating bread all day, okay, and water, eating a prisoner's diet. He does have some meat in there, some nutrients and stuff like that. So he can get away with some of this stuff, okay? But in the long run, you can see it physically in his head, his face, and his body. He has aged to the point where he looks 85. If he walks down the street, people think he's 85-year-old man. I would think he was 85. And I would never think that he lifted weights with a shirt on. I would not know. And even if he had his shirt off, I would just go, oh, okay. I guess maybe he's a laborer. Maybe he works in a factory, or who the hell knows. And maybe he's starving himself because, look, he's got some low body fat, somewhat low. I wouldn't say it's very low, but whatever.
Research on that. That is not like a statement that I make lightly. And it's not a controversial statement anymore. If we start looking into the research, strength training and resistance training is enormously correlated with reducing all-cause mortality. Okay? In fact, it even exceeds...
It doesn't prevent all-cause mortality. It increases all-cause mortality. You understand me? You understand? It's impossible. You're burning these drugs that you're eating all day called carbs. You're eating drugs all day. So you're burning them. You're using the exercise to burn them. All right. That could prevent certain things from popping out. You know that? Because you're burning them. You're using them as energy, as fuel. So your body's like, oh, I gotta burn these drugs again. You know what I mean? But you're accelerated aging because you're exercising. That's associated with shortgevity. Lots of sleep, living a very unstressful lifestyle, eating the proper food that you're supposed to, is going to make you live longer and look younger and look sexier and a whole bunch of stuff. He's just getting uglier.
Cardiovascular training, if they're only compared one-to-one, obviously doing both can be really beneficial.
Nope.
Okay, so I don't
prove it. He hasn't proved anything that he says.
Want to downplay that either, but you start looking at the data. Lifting weights dramatically reduces cancer.
What data? How could it reduce cancer? What causes cancer? An artificial diet, drugs, these drugs you're eating, they're poisonous. These plant drugs, they're poisonous, okay? If you keep poisoning yourself, you get cancer. It's an adaptation. How can you getting cancer? Oh, it's going to prevent you from getting cancer because you want to know why he's saying that? Because you're going to burn those toxins. Is that it? The energy, the drugs, the carbohydrate drugs, the drug diet, you're going to burn them as energy. So that will keep the cancer at bay. Man, this guy's really funny. Okay, what happens when cancer pops out after you poisoned yourself enough with the cyanide and arsenic from the rice and all that, and these plant toxins are, the oxalates and everything? So what happens then? What are you going to do? Lift your way out of it? It's going to cure it somehow? It's going to get rid of liftings could get rid of the cancer? No, man. You just have to stop poisoning yourself and the cancer will go away.
Just lifting weights. Now, before people even say, well, maybe it's the other lifestyle factors, people who live, no. When multivariate analysis has been looked at.
No one has ever gotten cancer that I know of eating, you as a carnivore, not breaking the laws of nature and eating your natural food as a carnivore, meat. You understand me? But if you're processing it or doing something to it, I don't know what the hell you're doing there to it. Putting nitrates on it, barbecuing it, who the fuck knows? Will that cause something? It's a possibility. I can't tell you for sure. But I know that eating something natural in nature can never do you wrong because it's natural. It works in unison. It's meant to work that way in a proper way. You understand me? Your body's meant to keep you alive. And so it's adapting because you keep poisoning it with alcohol, drugs, eating drugs all day, carbohydrates, sugar, drugs, 10 million gallons of fucking drugs all day called sugar, and a whole bunch of stuff. What did you expect? It's constantly having to adapt. on a daily basis to all these crazy things you're doing. Then you're giving it peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Then you're giving it anabolic toast and anabolic ice cream from Greg Doucette's book. What did you expect? Your body's fucking all over the place, man. You're making it adapt all over the place. Got to cut off this avenue, got to cut off that, got to close the receptors so that now the alcohol doesn't work anymore. Can't make it poison the brain because our brain is almost at the point where it's fried. Man, your body's just like, it's just going crazy trying to adapt and protect you from all this damage. You understand me? At some point, you've damaged the cells in your body, and then cancer comes out. It's an adaptation to keep you alive a little bit longer because it's exhausted itself at this point. You see what I mean? It's exhausted itself, and it says, you know what? We need to keep you living a little bit longer just to procreate and create some DNA and die because, man, we had enough at this point. Your body is meant to keep you alive. It itself would never give you a disease. What you're getting are adaptations. Stop poisoning yourself with sugar, and the insulin will go back to normal, and you won't be calling yourself a diabetic anymore. Get it?
So even when diet and other stuff differences are accounted for, the mere act of lifting weights a couple times a week dramatically reduces chances.
No, he does the same exercises again and again. Here's the thing. If you exercise and you constantly keep doing these same exercises again and again and again, you'll get arthritis. You'll get all kinds of problems in your joints and in your muscles. They'll become rigid. Because that's why in car plants, they move people around. They circulate them. They get them to do things that they're unaccustomed to doing. They put them on a different line. And then once they become accustomed to doing that, those things that they're doing on that car line, in that factory, they move them to something else. Even in all factories, when they do move boxes and bottles, they move the guy from the boxes, then they move them to do the bottles, then the bottles do the boxes, and then do this, and then, move the skits around, do that, drive this, and fix this, do that. Move these bottles or put this thing inside there in the box. Yeah, because they know if you keep doing the same thing, you're what you would call a metabolic disturbance, a disease will come out. Yeah. Doing something repetitive over and over again, which is harmful to your body, is bad for your body. Get it? You understand me? Yeah, it's bad for your body.
Of getting cancer. That's what the research shows. It increases cardiovascular health.
It increases cardiovascular disease. You understand me? And a heart attack. That's what it does.
Way massively and overwhelmingly affects diabetes. That's a big...
Look how many of these influencers are dropping. They're dropping due to cardiovascular disease and heart attacks from doing exercise.
One, right? What do I...
Fuck, even some of them get rhabdo. They even publish it. It's on YouTube. They got rhabdo and stuff because they pushed it to the limit. They were like, I should just exercise for hours straight in and out, straight in, forever. Just keep hammering those muscles. So eventually at some point, it just keeps breaking down protein, and then proteins are not building up anymore. Now that's not a damage. They didn't damage any muscle. It's still protected. What they're doing is they're lifting to the point where they're breaking down proteins without building up. So the window now is actually bigger than the window for protein synthesis to restore and to make you into a lifting slave again and come back and do it all over again in the gym. Get it, bro? And then you get rhabdo and you die in the hospital in a stupor.
Merely lifting weights, just lifting weights, not even dietary intervention has been shown to cut diabetes by up to 70%, type 2 diabetes.
No, it doesn't. Stop eating the drugs called sugar and the insulin will go back to normal. It's preventing you from eating sugar. It wants to stop you from eating sugar, so it's an adaptation. It drops the insulin, can't remove the sugar anymore, and you just feel bad every time you eat the sugar. So you're like, oh, fuck this. I feel really sick eating this sugar, and that's how you stop eating it. Your body prevents you from eating the sugar anymore. It's an adaptation process. It's protecting you by making you not eat anymore, making you feel bad if you eat that sugar.
Okay. That is enormous. Type 2 diabetes, which is like the number 3 killer in the U.S., by the way.
Lifting doesn't cure diabetes. Stop eating sugar does.
Right? You're way more likely to die of diabetes than a lot of stuff that gets in the media, that gets talked about.
I'm not going to die of diabetes. What are you talking about? I don't eat any sugar. I eat meat. Why would I die of diabetes if the 90% of my diet, practically 95%, is meat, is animal products? You yo.
Go into what those things might be, but it's way up the list. The only thing
The best is vegan gains. He says eating red meat will give you diabetes, will give you heart attack, cardiovascular disease. Diabetes? What in meat gives you diabetes? That's so stupid.
exceeding it or heart attack and cancer. That's it. There's nothing else exceeding it in the U.S. 70% chance reduction of developing it just from lifting weights. How about osteoporosis, sarcopenia, all these hip fractures? Okay, hip fractures that get you later in life. Okay, weightlifting almost completely.
Hip fractures? Why are you getting hip fractures? Because you're eating an artificial diet. Sugar and these carbohydrates and everything, they withdraw minerals and vitamins and minerals. They're anti-nutrient. They withdraw the minerals and vitamins from your bones. So you get hip fractures. That's why you're weak. You're weak. So are your muscles. They get fatty. A bunch of stuff, man. Your bones, they lost dexterity. They're weak. He's weak.
Completely offsets those. Takes them down by like 95%. All right?
You don't have to do any of this lifting to get your bones to increase the density or your muscles to get strong. All you have to do is eat your natural food as a carnivore and not break the laws of nature. And you're going to be super fast, super strong, super agile, super duper everything, Brodowski.
And again, I know because I have an aunt who competes in powerlifting in her 70s, and the impact has been enormous compared to other members of the family.
Yeah, he has to keep lifting because he loves eating drugs all day. So he can't stop eating drugs which are destroying him. And so he's lifting weights, trying to bear weight down on his body to try to reverse a lot of the stuff that's being caused, forcing his body in what I would call an adaptation to try to increase bone density through bearing weight on his body, on his bones. You understand me? And then he's lifting, so he's got protein turnover. That's all. He's burning this stuff, the drugs and stuff. Yeah. But it can only go for so long doing that. Eventually, you'll see him. He'll deteriorate. He's deteriorating already. It'll deteriorate even faster. He's only 47. Wait till he reaches 50. That will be a turning point when he reaches 50. That's gonna be something new for him to experience. Yeah, you remember for every decade you're going down. You're going downhill every decade.
Okay. So,
especially him lifting weights, exercise I call it, just dumb exercising, and eating an artificial diet, dude.
When you look at all these things, the weightlifting matters, and particularly gaining muscle. So people say, well, why bodybuilding? What do you mean? Why not just any lifting? Well, specifically because focus on hypertrophy, we come over and look at those other things. Muscle mass. Because focus on hypertrophy, we come over and look at those other things. Muscle mass is protective against cancer.
No, it's not. He didn't build any muscle. You're saying that his muscle mass is protective against cancer?